Hello, my name is Joseph Hopkins. I'm the Dean of the School of the Arts at Samford University. I'm also Minister of Music at First Baptist Church of Birmingham, Alabama. My profession is singing and teaching, and it's been my privilege to be here in Kolkata working in this beautiful country for the last week and a half, and to share some of my music with these people and to learn from their culture.
और लहू से सना और चिड़िया नन्ही सी चिड़िया अंगना में फिर आ जा
The beginnings of this concert are actually difficult to explain. It came about because of an incredible family that is working here in Kolkata and our connections through a student that came to us at Samford University. The invitation came to be a part of a concert with the Kolkata Youth Orchestra, and so I came to India to sing with this wonderful orchestra, but at the same time there's the opportunity here to visit the Kolkata School of Music, to be a part of churches and orphanages and schools around this community, and to see what God is doing in this place through the arts and through the ministries of the Good News ministry here. And so it's just been an incredible time seeing all these things work together to bring us here and to give us opportunity here. We got out of the car and I heard the sounds of Mozart coming through the air, and as we approached the building I realized there was this wonderful symphony performing, or practicing as it was, and I had the opportunity to be introduced to the Kolkata Youth Orchestra, this wonderful group of young musicians who are perfecting their work, their art, here in this community. It happens to be really the wonderful orchestra of Kolkata, and so it was a chance for me to see what is the center of Western music here in Kolkata. But it's a beginning. This is a youth orchestra that's just coming together. They've only been back together now for a year. And this terrific conductor, Sanjeev, has not only prepared them as conductor, but he's the teacher for all the string players in this orchestra. Several music teachers from around the community come in and join. Some musicians who are just avocational musicians but very talented have become a part of this. And Sanjeev has brought all of this together in what is becoming, I think, a very important orchestra for the Kolkata community. It was an honor to be involved in their music, to see how quickly they moved to learn the pieces that I introduced. My pieces were admittedly very Western and maybe very far out of the Indian tradition. But I watched as the musicians listened closely, they worked attentively and in earnest to try to emulate what we were teaching and to incorporate a lot of ideas that we were bringing to them for the first time. So it was exciting to be a part of the formation of what I think is becoming a very important piece for Kolkata. I should be honest and say that it was not always an easy journey, that the orchestra had challenges. I'm bringing a kind of music that's very different, and for many of these musicians, it is very early for them to be playing in the orchestra. They've only been playing the instrument maybe 1 year. And so for them to pick up these very sophisticated pieces and play them is quite complicated. But I watched as the more experienced and the senior musicians mentored the younger musicians. They began to shape the music into something that seemed familiar, and then we began to polish. Many rehearsals over the span of 3 days, and by the time we arrived at the concert, we felt confident that we were prepared to sing this piece and to play this piece. And at the same time that I'm teaching the Western piece to them, they were teaching an Indian piece to me, Alu Amar. And my first performance in the practice was terrible. I was dreadful. And everybody knew it. I couldn't follow the orchestra. I couldn't hear the sounds of the turns. It's very sophisticated in how it turns on pitch. And I most certainly could not sing the Bengali. And so they worked with me, and they pulled me aside. Often it was the younger musicians who were teaching me the Bengali, and it was the Bengali musicians who were teaching me the sounds of this vocal style that I was so unfamiliar with. By the time we arrived at the concert, again, I was confident. I felt like I understood this song, I understood what it was about, but I also had a sense of the style and maybe even a sense of the language, a taste of the language. So that was exciting. The evening was complicated by weather. We have had unexpected weather in March, and as many people have said, we've had a March monsoon. Here in Kolkata, and we most certainly had a monsoon on the night of the performance. In fact, at the worst possible moment, in the hour or two before the concert, right when someone would have been preparing to come to the concert, the heavens opened and down came the water, and it was crazy. The streets were a mess, and everybody just decided to stay at home, I'm sure. We were certain that there would be nobody at the concert. But as we neared the time for the concert, people did start to come. And then they announced that they would hold the concert for just a few more moments to let people come who had been delayed by the weather. In fact, there were a lot of people that came, and the hall was filled again with people.
Con un violaro
And we were excited to perform for a full audience, people who had braved what truly was a difficult night of weather to be a part of the concert. And I think because they understand that what's going on with this orchestra is something important for them. You know, I should say something about the way the concert ended. The concert ended with a piece that involved a Bengali song, a Korean song, and Amazing Grace, a Western hymn of prayer. And these songs blended together to create this ending piece. I think it's a good symbol for what's happening with the Kolkata Youth Orchestra. Here you have a way for cultures to meet and for people to speak in different languages that connect not only across the Indian community, but across the global community, because that's what Kolkata is. Kolkata is a city that really represents the world. And if it's going to represent the world, then the Kolkata Youth Orchestra becomes even more important. The Kolkata Youth Orchestra is a place where Kolkata can meet the world and the world can meet them, and there can be this cultural connection that allows us to share our hearts and minds together.
Amazing grace, how sweet